Hey everyone, it's Rebecca. Today I'm in my kitchen working on a Dutch oven lasagna recipe, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So I first want to show you all the ingredients we're going to be using today. I'm going to start off with a ground round I've got here, and I like to mix a ground beef, ground chuck, ground round with Italian sausage, and so they had some on sale yesterday at the store, and this is a mild Italian sausage. You can get the hot stuff too, but I think this really gives it like a good Italian flair to it and just kind of bumps up the taste of the lasagna quite a bit, and we love it with this Italian sausage in there. So I usually use half of a ground beef or ground chuck or ground round, and then I'll do a half of the sausage. So we're going to do about a pound of each of those, and we're going to brown them up, and we're going to add an onion and some garlic, and then this is the sauce we're going to be using. I actually have a recipe where I make all the sauce from scratch, and it's really good, but I love this recipe because it just comes together a little bit quicker. Now it does take a little while to cook. It takes about 3 hours or so, but most of that is hands-off time, and so I like using this organic pasta sauce. It doesn't have any bad ingredients in it. It's just tomato puree and herbs and stuff, so it's really good. So we get this from Aldi, so I've got a couple jars of that. It's going to go in there, and then so that's all going to go into our meat sauce mixture of it. We've got our meat sauce, and then we have our white sauce layer, which is going to be ricotta cheese, and we've got cream cheese. You want that softened, and then I've got an egg and some fresh parsley. Now if you don't have fresh parsley, you could use dried, or you can leave it out if you want to, but we'll just whip all that up in a food processor, and that's going to be our white cheese layer there. And then I'm using these gluten-free noodles from lasagna noodles from Jovial. I really like these. They are actually flat, so they don't have the ridges on them. You can use the ones with the ridges on them too, but I think these, I like them being flat because they kind of fit in there a little bit better. So that's one that's broken. And so I'm going to use those. And in this recipe, you don't boil your noodles, and I really like that because it's just one less step to do. And also I feel like the sauce absorbs into the noodles as they cook, and it actually makes it a lot more flavorful. So that's our noodles, and then our last layer is going to be cheese that goes on top. I like to use either a mozzarella or provolone, and I kind of like these slices because I like to lay them on top. I've used grated cheese before too. You can do that as well. So we're going to use about 16 ounces of cheese, and we're just going to get started making this lasagna. So let me show you how I do it. So I've put my Dutch oven on the eye, and I've got my eye on medium high, and while that's heating up, I'm just going to go ahead and slice up my onion and my garlic and get them ready to go in with the meat. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my ground round and my onion and my garlic and my Italian sausage in my Dutch oven and get that all browned up. So these sausages are in a casing, and I'm just going to remove them from the casing. You can buy Italian sausage in like a bulk pack where they're not in the casing, and that works fine too. But this is just what my store had and was on sale, and so that's what I'm going to use today. And I'm just going to use my wooden spoon here and get all that meat chopped up really good so that it's kind of fine. And I'm going to add some salt and pepper to it as well, and just keep cooking and kind of chopping it up as I go along. And then we're going to add our sauce and our water to it. So I like to go ahead and pour in both my jars of sauce, and then I'll put about a cup or so of water in one of those jars, kind of shake it up a little bit, and then pour it into the pan. Since we're using noodles that are uncooked, you want to have a little bit of extra sauce and water because those noodles are going to soak that up. So we're going to do our ricotta mixture now, and I've got part skim ricotta here that I'm going to put in, and my cream cheese and an egg and some parsley. And I'm not even cutting up that parsley because it whips up pretty good in the food processor, so I don't have to cut it up. If you don't want to use the food processor and your cream cheese is really softened, you can just mix this up in a bowl. So we're just going to get that blended up really good and get it ready for our lasagna. Now I'm just getting everything laid out so I can assemble the lasagna and I'll have everything together. I don't usually use all this whole pack of noodles. I use about 12 or so. I'll do about 3 or 4 per layer, and that seems to work pretty good. So since we're going to be making our lasagna right in this Dutch oven and we're going to need to layer it, we're going to go ahead and take out about 6 cups of this meat sauce, and you just want to put it in another bowl. So that's going to be about 2/3 of it, and then you're going to leave 1/3 in the bottom of the pan, and you're going to go ahead and kind of spread that out a little bit so you can start putting your other layers on it. I really love using this Dutch oven method because when I used just like a regular 9x13 pan before for lasagna, it felt like it was just always kind of spilling out and stuff. And so I love how thick this makes it. So now you're going to start taking your lasagna noodles and you're just going to put them on top of the sauce. With them being rectangular and your Dutch oven being round, you will need to kind of break them and fit them around in there. But once they start cooking, they're going to kind of swell up, and so they'll fill in some of those gaps. And once you get your lasagna noodles in there, you're going to go ahead and take your ricotta cheese mixture and you're going to put 1/3 of that on top of the noodles, and you're just going to kind of spread that around evenly on them. And then after that, you're going to start putting your cheese slices. And so for mine, I had 24 slices and I was doing 8 slices per layer. I didn't realize some of my kids had already eaten a couple of the slices, so I ended up with just 6 on top, but it was fine. And if you have grated cheese, you just kind of want to portion out 1/3 of it at a time and use those. And so you're going to do this 3 times. You're going to do your meat sauce, your noodles, your ricotta cheese, and then your provolone cheese. And you're just going to have 3 complete layers of that, and then we're going to bake it in the oven. And with this top layer, you may want to kind of push those noodles into the sauce a little bit, but you definitely want to make sure they're good and covered with those cheese mixtures so they'll absorb a lot of that sauce and cheese and get cooked really good. So now we've got it finished, and it's going to go into the oven for an hour and a half. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and work on some dishes. We don't have a dishwasher right now, so I like to do my dishes in between cooking just so that it's not so much to do at the end of the night after we get done eating supper. So this makes quite a bit of lasagna. I would say 12 servings or so. And if you're not going to eat all that, what you can do is when it's cold, you can cut it up into slices and flash freeze it on a tray and then put it in a bag. And you can pull that out for lunches and stuff, and it works really good. So it's been an hour and a half. I'm going to take this out and look at it. My cheese is going to be nice and browned, but if yours isn't, you can leave the lid off, pop it back in the oven for, say, 15 minutes or so to brown that cheese. But what you want to do is when it's finished, you want to go ahead and let this sit for about 30 minutes just so the sauce can absorb into those noodles a little bit better, and it's going to cut so much easier. I let mine sit for about 15-20 minutes. I probably should have let it sit for just a little bit more because it did come out kind of sloppy, but nobody complained, and we just had it with a nice little side salad, and it was super delicious. And then we had it for leftovers for a couple days. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make this recipe today. If you try it, please let me know in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day.